All right, so this is 7.4, number 13.
Yes.
Okay, and 7.4, number 13 says, if each side of a square is increased by 5 centimeters, the total area of both the new square and the original will be 200 centimeters squared. Find the side length of the original square, basically. Cool? So, word problem, right?
Yes.
First step, what?
Look at the picture.
Don't panic. Right? Really, first step, don't panic. It really will be okay. Okay? So, calmness. Then we read the problem. Oh, whoops, we read it already. That's why we screwed up. Okay, so we read it already. Now we draw a picture. Okay, so they were talking about squares, right? I remember some business about squares. So there was like an old square, and then there was like a new square, right? Okay, so now I need some labels, right? Okay, so what did they tell me?
The big square is 5 longer than the small one.
Yeah, so the sides on this one are 5 longer than the sides on that one. So what do you need to name?
So,
What do you want to call
Do like n and then n plus 5?
it? Okay. So we'll call that n and n plus 5. And then what else do I know about these?
All together.
that they're
Their
added.
area.
Okay, so the total area is what?
200.
200. Okay, centimeters squared. Okay, what else did they tell me? Am I missing a label or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to find areas of these right now, do I? What's the label I'm missing? Yeah, I would like to use length times width, right? But I only have one thing on one of the sides labeled.
Well, it's a square, so.
Oh, stupid of me. Thanks. It's a square, right? So they're both squares, yeah? All right, so how much area is there in this square?
N squared.
Okay, so this one has area n squared. How much area is there in this one?
N plus 5 squared.
N plus 5 squared.
No, put parentheses around the n and the 5.
Good, thank you. Remember, we're multiplying the whole side length by the whole side length, so we need to square the whole thing. Please remember, right, this isn't n squared plus 5 squared. Some of you are kind of wondering why that is. Remember, you have to FOIL, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's my total area? 200. What else is my total area? This is the write some math step of mine, solve a word problem, right?
N plus 5 squared plus n squared.
You guys see that? The total area, right, is the area of this one plus the area of that one. So it's also, right, it is 200, but it's also n squared plus n plus 5 quantity squared. Right? Okay, now what?
Foil.
Okay, careful. Don't square root both sides. Why not? Sort of the right idea, but what's going to happen? Remember, you're going to get you have something squared plus something squared. If I square root that, I don't get this thing plus that thing because I forgot to unfoil. Does that make sense? There were some cross terms that I would need for that. I don't have them. So what do I do instead? Yeah, let's do the that, right? Let's multiply everything out. So I get n squared plus, what do you guys get when you multiply this out?
10n squared plus 25.
What'd you lose?
But you also have a plus n squared.
Okay, I almost lost an n squared because there was one in the other thing, right? There was one here, and I got one out of here. So there's 2. Okay, so there's 2. Oh, I can write so there's 2. That's 2n squared plus 10n plus 25, right? What's that equal to? 200 centimeters squared, yeah. So we'll know that our units are centimeters in the end here. Okay, now what?
Can you subtract 200 from that side and put it onto the other side? So you have negative 175 and the whole equation equals 0.
Okay, so this is an option, right, where you subtract the 200 to this side. Then what technique are you kind of committing to?
The quadratic.
Yeah, you're probably committing to the quadratic formula. If you move the 25 to the other side, what technique are you suggesting to yourself?
The square.
Probably complete the square.
If you did what?
If you move the 25 to the other side, and then you'll want to divide by 2, right?
Isn't that
Yep.
easier?
No, they're the same, really. Remember, the quadratic formula is completing the square. You just pay for it in a different place. So, what's the payoff? Completing the square, the technique's harder to remember. The quadratic formula, the arithmetic's harder. It's a payoff. Which one do you guys want to do?
Quadratic.
Quadratic? You guys really like that thing. All right, so what's A, B, and C?
C is 10 and C is negative.
Good. And you guys seem to be doing a good job of attaching the negatives to these things. Really psyched on that. Don't disappoint me. All right, so what do I do with these? Plug them into the thing. So what's the...
Minus 10.
Plus or minus.
Square root of 10. Minus 4. Minus 2. Times minus 75 over 2 times 2.
And what's that equal to?
I don't know.
Yeah, you do. What's the variable? N, right? Oh, look at that. Crazy, I do know what I'm doing. All right, so good. All right, now what?
Solve.
Yeah, now this is the part where I pay for it, because now I have to do the arithmetic, right? So let's see. What can we simplify right off the bat?
10 squared.
Okay. I get negative 10 plus or minus the square root 100 minus plus. Uh-oh. Yeah, I need to multiply 8 by 175. Somebody got a calculator?
It's 1400.
1400. Great. And then this is all over 4. Okay. So I get n is negative 10 plus or minus the square root of 1500 divided by 4. Okay, does 1500 have a nice square root? Oh. Bummer, right? Okay, so I get negative 10 plus or minus. All right, what's 1500?
100 times 15.
So 100 times 15. So I can simplify as square root of 100 times square root of 15 divided by 4. So I get negative 10 plus or minus 10 square root of 15 over 4. What can I cancel?
A 2.
The 2. What do you have to be careful with canceling the 2?
Don't do the square root. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, you can do 10 divided by 4 and 10 divided by 4? Is that okay?
Yep, so we want to remember to cancel a 2 out of both pieces, right? Really, I have to remember to factor a 2 out of the top before I cancel it. I can't just cancel it with one of these. So you should get negative 5 plus or minus 5 root 15 over 2. Right? Make sure you're canceling out of both pieces. really that's factoring out of 2 out of the top, right? Okay. This is as good as I'm going to get, right? This is as simple as it's going to be without a calculator. Which one do I know? There's 2 solutions here, right? Do I know one of them's not going to be the case? Yeah, I know there's not going to be a negative, right? And negative 5 minus 5 15ths, that's definitely going to be negative, even after I divide it by 2. You guys see that? So I know I don't need the negative one. So I can write n is negative 5 plus 5 root 15 divided by 2. Right? Is this really the thing I should put a box around? No, I should, damn it, I have to remember to read the thing again and then write a sentence. Okay, so if I read the thing again, it says, what was the side length of the square? Okay, so is n the original side length? Yeah, it's the little guy, right? Okay, so I'm okay with that, I think. What do I want to write? What should the sentence read? So the question was, what was the side length of the little square? So the side of the little square is, and then I don't need n, right? Because I made the n. Is this what? Units? Centimeters, period. Why not squared?
Because you already did it.
Because I took the square root of it, right? Really, not squared because, well, it's a side length. It better not be an area, right? You guys see that? Really, we could see that back here. When we square rooted this side, we took a square root of centimeters squared. We got a centimeters out of it.
So if we were looking for just the area of the small square, that's when we would put squared.
Yeah, so if they asked what was the area of the small square to begin with, I would have to take this number and square it, and then centimeters squared.
Okay.
You guys see that?
No.
If the questioner originally asked for what is the area of the original square, this is the side length, right? If I want the area out of this, I gotta square it. You guys see that? All right, cool. If you want to approximate this, right, to get a feel for it, how would you approximate this number? I would like you guys at the end of your word problems to kind of ballpark the answer for reasonableness. So on this one, I would say, all right, what's 15 close to that I can take the square root? 16, right? So this is about, right? This is me just ballparking at the end. This is saying, all right, n is about negative 5 plus 5 times 4 divided by 2, right? This is 15 over 2, which is like 7.5. Is that vaguely reasonable?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that feels okay. If I had gotten 150,
You messed up.
not the case, right? Cool. So usually word problems have a real physical meaning that you can tease out at the end. If you get that the ladder needs to be 1.5 miles long, it's probably wrong, right? So do that little ballpark step at the end, like, oh, is this even vaguely reasonable? It'll help you when you drop decimals and stuff. All right, guys.